It's Abby Glassenberg here at Craft Industry Alliance. We are doing our member spotlight just a little bit early today, but we are always here on Wednesdays to drop in on a Craft Industry Alliance member, learn more about their business and their business journey, maybe see some samples of their work or a little tour of their studio. So today I'm really excited to be talking with Yvette Todd. Yvette is the founder or co-founder with her partner of a new app, and it's called Stash Hub. So we're going to learn all about her app and how it can be used by people who sew. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And I see you here, Stash Hub. So please click that plus sign at the bottom and I will welcome you into the chat. So Yvette, I think, is a fairly new member of Craft Industry Alliance. And if you don't know what Craft Industry Alliance is, we are the trade association for the crafts industry. So we provide news coverage of the industry, networking, as well as education. Members, they are all amazing business owners from small businesses to very large. And we would love to welcome you. Hi, how are you, Yvette?
Hi, I'm doing really well, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so nice to see you and get to know you a little bit. I was saying, I feel like you're one of our newer members. Am I right there?
Yeah, I've only been in Craft Industry Alliance for a few months, but I'm already finding it really helpful. There's just so much great content and like just all that information gathered in one place is really useful.
Wonderful. Okay, so tell us about Stash Hub. What is it and how does it work?
So, Stash Hub is a sewing organizer app that I founded with my husband Doug. So, it's available on Android, iOS, and web, and you can use it across devices. So, you can keep an eye on your stash wherever you are, and you can use Stash Hub to catalog your fabric collection, your pattern collection, all your notions, and then pair everything together to keep on top of your projects as well.
That's fantastic and very cool idea. How did you come to this idea?
We kind of didn't like set out to kind of create it as an app for everyone and start a business. We kind of I was teaching myself how to sew around a similar time that my husband was teaching himself coding. And similarly, like with coding and with sewing, it's much more interesting to develop new skills if you've got an actual project to work on. So he was always looking for projects and he's quite a natural problem solver. So as I was getting more and more into sewing, obviously I was accumulating more and more fabric. So he kind of recognized that as a problem that needed to be solved. He was like, maybe I could make an app to help you, keep on top of all this. So he just started out kind of making what I suppose was the prototype to Stash Hub for me to use, just because he thought it would be a fun project for him to work on and something that I might find useful. And then it was actually like really good. Like I had tried other ways of organizing it myself, which I'm sure some other sewers have tried, things like Trello and
Mm-hmm.
spreadsheets and
Yep.
stuff like that. But it requires you have to think about it a lot before you start. And as a beginner myself, I
Right.
didn't I was only just sort of learning about fabrics and stuff like that. So then when we first made the app and then we thought, oh, actually this could be so useful for other sewers as well, to have a system already set up and everything links together really easily as well. So then we kind of started working on the app properly, I'd say. So we launched Stash Hub in 2022. So yeah, it's almost 3 years we've since we launched the app, but it's been really growing and improving over the years because the sewing community is so amazing and like generous with their feedback and have helped us decide which new features to add. And so yes, the app's growing and getting even better all the time.
That's great. And so you were saying that in order to use like one of the tools that's not really made for cataloging your sewing supplies like Trello, you have to do a lot of thinking in advance. And you were a beginner and didn't really know all that much to be able to do all that thinking in advance. So can you tell us what some of that means? Like what kind of thinking or what kind of organizational framework is already in place in Stash Hub that you can actually benefit from, whether you're a beginner or somebody who's more advanced.
So with something like Trello, it's sort of more designed as like a business tool, and you've got these cards and then all the information is just in one card. Whereas there's obviously different types of information that you have about your fabric, which is then going to impact what you can make. So things like the fabric type, the length, the width, and then there's other information that you might want to keep, like where you bought it, when you bought it. So in Stash Hub, we've kind of created all these fields for you of all the information that you might need, although they are optional. You don't have to fill them all in if you've, already got a large stash and you don't know some of the info. But then that information is filterable. So if
Mm.
you have a project in mind and you want to make use of your stash, but you're not quite sure what you've got or what might be suitable, you can set up some parameters on the filters, like, well, I'm going to do a dress, so I need at least 3 meters, and it's a wide skirt, so I want it 150 centimeters wide, and I think I'll do it floaty, so I want a rayon or viscose. So you can just set up that, see what you've got, and then link that up with your patterns as well. So that's another one of the big advantages of Stash Hub over kind of creating a DIY platform, is that it's all very interlinked. So you can see your fabric, then see what project you've got planned for it, link to the pattern that you've chosen, so you can easily check all the details. So it's really handy, like if you're out and about fabric shopping, you can go on the pattern info, see what notions you need, go to your notion section, see if you've already got them. So it stops you from repeat buying the same things, which I know a lot of people can probably relate to.
Yes, I mean, all of us have bought the same pattern twice because we didn't know, or found ourselves at the store without it and then didn't know what it was exactly that we needed, and that can be frustrating as well. So that's great, and it's because it was made by a sewist for sewists. You know exactly what it is that people need. So I know a lot of apps, they start as a web app and then add the mobile, like, Android and Apple versions, so that's an actual like app on your phone. How come you decided to do, or did you do all three at once? That seems like a lot of work up front.
So we originally started with the app, the Apple and Android app. So Doug codes on a platform called Flutter, which you can use to code for both Android and iOS. And it was really important for us to have on both platforms, because if you've got an iPhone and then you switch to an Android phone, you would
Right,
lose access to it. So we started with the app, and then we later developed the web version, so that you can also use it on your computer. You can use the web version on your phone as well, like if you didn't want to download the app or something like that. But it means you can use it on your computer, like if you've got a lot to enter and you're quicker at typing on a keyboard rather than on your phone.
right.
But they sync up between both, so you can still use it on your phone when you're out and about.
Right. So once you're logged in, where if you use it on your computer and then you use it on your phone, it's going to be synced, which is great. And we had one comment. She was saying that uploading the stash is a lot of work. So if you're just getting into sewing and you don't have a stash yet, okay, great, because you can kind of start at the same time. But if you've been sewing for 5 years or 10 years and you've already got, a big library of patterns and drawers of fabric, shelves of fabric, and then you get the app, you need it, and that it'll benefit you, but the upfront work can be overwhelming. So what suggestions do you have for people to sort of overcome that hurdle?
So I would suggest, just to start with, add what you're planning to work on next, just to get a
Right,
feel like for the app, like just to see if it works for you, if you find it easy to use. And we're always happy to help as well if you get stuck on anything. But I think if it's the projects that you're excited to do next, you want to keep that fabric, you want to use that fabric, and then you're excited about that project, and then also you get to go through the whole flow of the app, like the adding of the project, adding the pattern, doing the projects. You get to test out all the parts rather than sort of
sure.
feel sort of dragged under by the fabric, because I know a lot of people, they'll buy fabric over the years, and then not, they don't necessarily want to keep all of it or want to sew all of it, especially like right now. And it can feel like this massive to-do list if you've got
Right.
like 500 fabrics, and then you feel like you've got to get them all out, measure them, think of something to make with them. It's too much. So what I'd say is, like, think of like 4 projects that you want to do in the next month that you're really excited about, and then just get going with those, and see if you find it helpful to like keep on top of those projects, and then you can always have a more intense like stash sort out when you're a bit more in the zone, but like you can take it a little bit at a time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion. And then what about costs? Is this like a free model, a freemium model? Are there ads? I know a lot of apps it's freemium, so you can get the basic version, but if you want more advanced features, you need to pay. Or some of them it's an annual fee, so you just pay up front in the beginning and you get to use it. How did you all decide on how it was going to be priced? So that, because obviously this is a ton of work for both of you.
Yeah, so right now Stash Hub is like both of our full-time jobs, so like myself and my husband, so that's like our full family
Sure.
income.
And
It
you need to
relies
get
on
paid.
people enjoying the app.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing a freemium model. So Stash Hub is free for, you can add up to 20 fabrics, 20 patterns. So you can like really get a feel for the app, and you can do 20 magic inputs as well, which is really good if you're adding new fabrics. So that's another thing that I suggest when you're getting started, to add your new fabrics first, because you are probably most excited about those. So we've got this feature called Magic Input, where if you buy fabric online, you can copy the URL of the web address, paste it into Stash Hub, and it will pull out all the information for you. So you
Ah,
don't need to take your own pictures right in every field. It just does it automatically.
that's
Um,
great. So as you're going, once you've got your archives in there, then as you're going for the future, that makes it much easier. Yeah. Okay, so
yes,
did you say 20 of each of those
20.
things? Okay.
Yeah, so that's 349 pounds a month. It's slightly different in different currencies. So yeah, UK is £3.49 per month. I think it's similar in dollars. Or you can subscribe yearly if you find that easier, and then it's £34.99 per year. So it's slightly cheaper if you subscribe
Right.
for the year. And then if you sort of decide, oh, I'm not going to buy any more fabric, or you need a break for financial reasons or whatever, you can pause your Stash Hub subscription, but you won't lose access to anything you've got uploaded. So you can still,
I
keep using through your stash that you've already added.
Okay, that's great. So, right. So if you do have to dial it back, it's not going to penalize you. Okay. That's super. So wonderful. I love this. You're based obviously in the UK. Where are you all?
So we're based in Surrey in the UK. So we're not too far out of London. So I tried to get into London for lots of the sewing events that happen there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, great. And tell us what is coming up for you guys. What's new? What's around the corner? If there's any new features or anything else, any events you're going to be at that people should know about.
Yes, so there's loads of exciting stuff coming up. So what we're working on currently is a CSV import. So this is going to make it really easy for
Wow.
people that have their stash sort of in a spreadsheet or something. Because I know, like with this what we already talked about, how it can be difficult to add everything at the start. You especially don't want to do that if you've already put the work into like putting it all into a spreadsheet. So we're making a way that you could just export your spreadsheet as a CSV type, add it into Stash Hub, and it will just fill it all in for you, so you can get started with Stash Hub really easily.
Wow,
Um,
that's great.
so that's going to be our new feature release, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
That's fantastic. Okay, good. So for people who have already done some legwork and are feeling overwhelmed, this is coming down the line. That's fantastic. Awesome. So anything else we should know about?
So this is a sneak peek of my latest dress. Do you want to have
Oh,
a
pretty
quick look at
fabric.
that?
I love
So
it.
so this I I bought the fabric at the Festival of Quilts last year, so
Yeah.
I'm mostly a garment sewer, but I really enjoyed Festival of Quilts last year and bought some really lovely fabric. So I bought this fabric. It was on my Stash Hub wish list this time last year, and I just happened to see the fabric when I was at the show. So I was like, right, this is meant to be. I've got to have it. So I've just finished it just this morning. So I've made the ME 2016, if anyone knows that pattern. Got my invisible zip. You can't even see it. So
It's
invisible.
gorgeous.
Where it is. There it is. So I can quickly, I've got it. This is my project in Stash Hub. So you can see I've got the fabric, the pattern, linked to my measurements, the notions, everything like that. And then I can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, switch it from in progress to complete. There we go.
Ah, look at that. You got confetti.
So it's very satisfying. It's even more satisfying than actually pulling it off the sewing machine. You're just like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super cool. All right. Well, thank you for showing us how it actually looks. That's great. I love it. So where can people go or what do you suggest people do if they're interested in getting started with Stash Hub, want to give it a try, get a feel for it, maybe start with the next project they're going to be doing?
Yeah, so we are on all the socials as at stash_hub. So Instagram's probably the best place to come and follow us for
Okay.
inspiration and to hear about the features and sort of see them in action. So I like to share what I'm working on as well. In the context of Stash Hub, but we're also on YouTube where I host stash chats where I talk to different members of the sewing community about their stashes, and how they got into sewing as well, which is always really interesting because everyone's got a different story and it's really inspiring. Yeah, so those are the main places on socials, Instagram and YouTube. You can download Stash Hub in the App Store, the Play Store. And yeah, like I said, it's totally free to download it, create an account, have a little look
Give
around.
it a try.
Yeah, just give it a go. We've got tutorials on our YouTube as well. Yeah, and we're going to be launching something really exciting in September that's going to help people like really like get started and get engaged in organizing their stashes. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled
All
if
right.
you need
Keep a
motivation.
lookout in another month or so for a big announcement. That sounds very exciting. Well, it's been great getting to know you, Yvette, and learning more about this business. It's very cool. I love it. I love technology. I love new ways for people to approach and organize their projects and make them more doable, more achievable. The more we do that, the more people sew and finish things and get more fabric and have more fun and take more classes and do all the things, which is always really good for the industry. So really glad to have you as a member and thank you so much for telling us more about it today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, and thanks for having me in the Craft Industry Alliance as well. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for
Cool.
joining us and see you next week. All
Yep.
right. Bye. Bye, Yvette.
Bye.